If you are familiar with my channel, then you would know that I like anime. If you are familiar with my podcast, then you would know that I not only love Dragon Ball, but religiously waste my time and money on a Dragon Ball gacha game. Dokkan Battle has been in my life longer than most of my friends, and as sad as that is to say, it has also strengthened my best friendships more than I could express in a video. Some of my best memories are spent playing Dokkan with Corey while cleaning a small movie theater we worked at in high school. Me and my co host Skylar have bonded over the hundreds of dollars we have put into the game, only to get shafted by the Gasha gods. The three of us have gathered for the anniversaries and share our summons even when we can't get together. That being said, over the years, I've had some very hot takes on cards. Skylar, Corey, and I have had some heated debates over my dumbass opinions. So here are my favorite cards in Dokkan as of December 2023. Before I start, I would like to say that this is my opinion, so don't get mad at me. Also, this is not my opinion on the best cards in Dokkan, but the cards that make me the most happy when using them. Some of these cards are good, but as you will see, some of them are going to be a bit questionable. Attack and defense plus 180%. All allies key plus 3 and attack and defense plus 40%. High chance of additional attack plus 10 for all allies. High chance of an additional defense plus 10 for all allies. High chance of evading enemy attack, including super attack, when HP is 50% or more. Extreme class allies attack and defense plus 60% and recover 50% HP when HP is 50% or less, only once. Plus an additional attack and defense with each attack evaded up to 120%. This is going to be the first of many crossover cards on this list. I love the crossover stuff. Dragon Ball is a series I never took seriously. It is goofy, buff, sweaty, hot men beating up super buff alien men, so I never gave a shit about what's canon and what's not. Speaking of men, Toa is not one, so let's give it up for diversity. Woo! I like how she's a support unit that is actually usable. Her high chance to dodge is super useful, and she basically fits on any team. Speaking of, she actually can be used on any team. Unlike a lot of Heroes cards, she doesn't have any stupid restrictions. I've been using her on literally every team since her EZA. Attack and defense plus 150%. Key plus 2 plus an additional attack and defense plus 20% at the start of each turn. Key up to plus 8 and attack and defense up to plus 80. Guards all attack and high chance of launching an additional super attack if HP is 58% or more at the start of turn. High chance of performing a critical hit when there is an android category enemy. He also has a transformation, but you never see it, so I won't read it. I love stacking cards, both defense and attack. I think it's so much fun, but most events aren't long, so stacking cards aren't super good. Gohan is kind of the exception. He isn't very strong in the first turn, but if you aren't fighting an AoE enemy, you can hide him pretty easily. He builds up super fast, so the following turn he'll be fine. He's an OG, and I'm happy his EZA wasn't shit, unlike some of his friends. He has many teams, so he can go all over the place. This guy's been helping me out in events since 2019, so he had to be on this list. Attack and defense plus 159%, plus an additional attack and defense 59% when performing a super attack. DB Saga or youth category allies plus 2 key, attack and defense plus 50. Randomly changes 1 key sphere of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, plus an additional attack and defense plus 20% per key sphere attained. Chance of performing a critical hit and reduces damage received by 7% per rainbow key sphere obtained, plus an additional defense plus 59% with 3 or more key spheres obtained. Launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, with 5 or more key spheres obtained. All allies' chance of performing a critical hit plus 8%, and all allies reduce damage received by 8%, with 7 or more key spheres obtained. I love this movie. I love this card's active skill and the scene that it's based on. Even if this card was terrible, it still probably would be on the list. His unit super attack is easy to get because Aider is good and the best unit in the game activates it. I love how he supports the team with damage reduction. That's kind of just about it. I also really like nuker cards. Attack and defense plus 100%. Key plus 1, plus an additional attack plus 50% when facing 2 or fewer enemies, and an additional key plus 1 and attack and defense plus 30% when facing only 1 enemy. Alright guys, this is an interesting one. Like I said, I like the crossover cards, and this one in particular is the start of that. I'm aware that he sucks, but I have a lot of nostalgia towards him. He stacked and was cool, and Bardock was my favorite character when he came out. His character in Xenoverse 2 was so much fun to me, and he could go SJ3, just the coolest card ever whenever I was a kid. Whatever, I know it's dumb, but I will always put him on my team when I can. Nowadays, I only really use him in Battlefield, but at least I still have that. Attack and defense plus 150%. All allies key +2, plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% when attacking, and high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, within the same turn, plus an additional key +2 and attack +60 for 3 turns after evading an attack. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of being a super attack. Launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, starting from the turn in which the character performs the third attack in battle. Disables the attacked enemy's action once within the turn when the character performs the sixth attack in battle only once, and great chance of performing a critical hit starting from the character's next attack. She has a transformation and active skill, but she's new, so I bet everyone has already seen her details. Diversity, girl power, absolute girl boss, period, slay. Gamma 1. Activates entrance animation upon entry only once. Attack plus 50% and guards all attacks for 4 turns from the start of turn. Attack and defense plus 150%. Plus an additional attack plus 100% when performing a super attack. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 20% up to 100% and reduce damage received by 10% up to 50% with each attack received. Medium chance of performing a critical hit starting from the turn in which the character receives the 5th attack in battle. All allies plus 1 key and defense plus 30%. Great chance of nullifying unarmed super attacks directed at the character and countering with tremendous power. Gamma 2. Activates the entrance animation upon entry only once. Defense plus 50% and launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a medium chance of becoming a super attack for 4 turns from the start of turn. Attack and defense plus 50%, plus an additional attack plus 100% when performing a super attack. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 20% up to 100%, and chance of performing a critical hit 10% up to 50% with each attack performed. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, starting from the turn in which the character performs 5th attack in battle. All allies plus 2 key and attack plus 30%. High chance of nullifying key blast super attacks directed at the character. We are 10 minutes into this recording. I know it's not going to be 10 minutes into the video, but my throat is starting to hurt because of how long the paragraphs are for these stupid characters. It's ridiculous. The only easy one to read so far has been Mass Saiyan. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going insane. My throat is hurting. I'm sick. I'm sick, guys. That's why I sound weird. I'm sick. That's why I have a little bit of a gravel in my voice. Ugh, I'm going insane. COVID is getting to my brain. Anywho, I like how well these two work together. They're such a fun rotation to have on any team. Gamma 1 is better than Gamma 2, but if you're going to run one of them, you're going to run both of them. Unless that's just me. I don't know. Activates the entrance animation only once and reduces damage received by 20% for 4 turns from the start of turn, plus an additional damage reduction of 20% for the first turn, when there is another Realm of Gods category ally on the team at the start of the character's attacking turn. Key plus 6 and attack and defense plus 100%, plus an additional key plus 3 and attack and defense 50% when there are no Realm of Gods category enemies. High chance of performing a critical hit, reduced damage received by 40%, plus an additional defense plus 50% when receiving an attack and if HP is 70% or less when receiving an attack, plus an additional defense plus 50%. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack within the same turn after receiving an attack, plus an additional attack plus 20% with each attack received, up to 150%. I don't have much to say about this guy because if you play the game, then you know this lad is very good. I like extreme type units a lot, but most of them are bad. I'm just so happy that this guy's not only good, but amazing. I love his team, and I love his domain. Yorik Tenkai. Activates entrance animation upon the character's entry turn only once. and chance of performing a critical hit plus 30% and reduces damage received by 30% for 6 turns from the character's entry turn. Key plus 3 in attack and defense plus 200%. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 150% when performing a super attack. Plus an additional attack and defense plus 100% and great chance of launching an additional super attack when there is another grade 8 power or crossover category ally attacking in the same turn, or a grade 8 power or crossover category enemy. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 40% and reduced damage received by 30% when all allies attacking in the same turn are grade 8 power or crossover category characters. Finally, we got a Heroes unit that is goated. This guy is so good and is exactly what I wanted in a Heroes card. Physical Vegito is also super fun, but this guy is one that will always be my favorite because he was the first great Heroes card. I've been a very happy Dokkan player recently. Attack and defense plus 120%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 60% per extreme class ally attacking in the same turn, self-excluded. Medium chance of evading enemy's attack, including super attack. And guards all attacks within the same turn after evading an attack. And recovers 13% HP at the end of turn in which attack was received. Attacked enemies attack minus 33%. Okay, this might be the most headest take of the entire day. I would like to restate that this is not the top 10 best Dokkan units, but my favorite ones. This guy is the pinnacle of crossover weirdness. Just look at him. What the fuck is that? Like I said with Dokkan, I like stacking cards, and on top of that, he can also dodge and guard. I use him on literally every single team possible, which wasn't much, but now with Android 21, he actually has a decent team. Before I talk about my favorite cards, I gotta hit some honorable mentions. I know y'all are confused because I haven't said either of these cards yet. I know you're thinking, there's only one slot left, but he hasn't said Bio Brawly or Physical Bio Brawly Goten and Trunks. This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry to say it, but neither of them are actually in the number 1 spot. I figured it was unfair to put them in the ranking due to how amazing those cards are. Best cards in the game for the best Dragon Ball movie. Stay tuned. Activates the entrance animation upon entry, once only. Key plus 4 in attack and defense plus 58%, and launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack for 6 turns from the start of turn. Key plus 4 in attack and defense plus 158% at the start of turn. Reduce damage received by 30% from enemies who have been hit by this character's ultra super attack within the same turn. Plus an additional key plus 1 up to plus 5, and defense plus 8% up to 58%, with each attack received. Plus an additional attack plus 58% for the rest of battle, starting from the turn in which the character receives the 5th attack in battle. Launches an additional super attack starting from the turn in which the character receives the 8th attack in battle. Everyone hates this card and I don't know why. I was going to summon for him regardless of his quality because his opening has a lot of nostalgia to me. It's what started my anime everything. But he's amazing. He's literally the reason why I wanted to make this video on this topic. The new clone event was literally made for him. And there was some other event during the worldwide download celebration that was made for him, but I don't remember what it was and I don't want to look it up. But it still adds to my point. His damage reduction isn't a lot, and he needs to get hit a lot to fully activate his passive. But it doesn't matter because he's a stacker, baby, and he stacks hella fast. He's gotten to over 1 million defense for me multiple times, and I promise this isn't even a joke. I run his team through every new event before I run any other team. I love Orange Piccolo and LO World Tournament Piccolo, and they are on this team. It's just so much fun. I actually got him off of a ticket summon and didn't spend any stones on him, which might go into why I like him. Alright, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, and if you were playing Dokkan during the video, then you have to subscribe. Alright, thank you. See ya.